Neighbour series. For those of you who are newbies, and there have been some new subscribers over the past couple of weeks, Hello Neighbor is a series that I started doing inspired by the work of Fred Rogers. And for those of you who don't know, Fred Rogers is probably the person that I would consider closest to a saint. I mean, you can look up you can learn a little bit more about him. There's a recent, not quite biopic, but a recent film that came out starring Tom Hanks. And I think it's called, is it A Good Day in the Neighborhood? Let me just double check that. Live Googling. How exciting. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Here we go. It's a biographical drama with Tom Hanks, and it's a good introduction to Fred Rogers, who was, by all accounts, a badass. But effectively, Rogers inspired and transformed and, just gave people really an outstanding moral compass through his work, which spanned decades, decades and decades and decades. He's usually known as Mr. Rogers. In fact, there's something quite cool I can tell you about him astrologically as well. But yeah, his show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, ran from 1968 to 2001. And I would say that his work has probably touched millions. So, not saying I'm anywhere near that cool, but I figured that on my little platform, I would start a series called Hello Neighbor, which was a way to actually bring together people in terms of community. Because for those of you who may not know, because you may be new to me, I've been doing this a little while. I used to have a much larger crowd on Facebook, same patterns. And I looked at my chart and I was like, oh shit, this is not channeling the right energy. And then I just left it. Years and years of work, a huge client base. I just walked away from all of it overnight. And some people are still going, you blocked me on Facebook. And I go, I didn't. I walked away from Facebook entirely. So this was a way to also recreate that sense of community and just, have an opportunity to speak to people. I mean, most of the time people get the vibe, they get the flow. They've seen me long enough to know what I will and will not tolerate. Once in a while I have to like basically go but most of the time, it's like, nah, it's just a chill out space and people get to share stuff and do stuff and just generally be at peace. I don't want this to be all about the heavy astrology, the deep spirituality, and whatnot. Sometimes you just got a space to be human. So that was the idea behind Hello Neighbor. And for the newbies, I, retell the story of why I do this once in a while. And those of you who've been around know why I do this. So, but anyway, let me tell you something cool, which I found out recently. And as you have probably realized, as my brother puts it, does he call me a geek or a dweeb or a nerd? Sometimes he calls me all three. But there is something that's really cool that I really like. And I was looking this up because I was like, come on, astrology, give me something good. Give me something good. And I found that there is an asteroid named after Mr. Rogers, and that is asteroid number 26858. I repeat, 26858. You can look it up on astro.com to see where it is in your chart. So I was like, oh my God, I have to see where this is in my chart. And I was completely unsurprised where it was. 26858. Yep. I was completely unsurprised where it was. Any guesses? Any guesses? Where would you think asteroid Mr. Rogers would be for me? What would you think it would be conjunct? I'm opening the space for guesses now. Briefly. So if you got a guess, say it. Uh, first house. No, 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 not the first house. No. Capricorn. No. Your sun or Venus? Keep guessing. Keep guessing. Venus, nope. This is fun. Fifth house. Nope. Spits out air. It's angel number law. Okay, 11th house. Nope. Gemini. Nope. But it's the closest guess so far. Mercury, finally, Thank you, roses and bees. Well done, well done. So, asteroid Mr. Rogers for me is directly conjunct my Mercury. So I was like, oh, this actually makes a lot of sense. So they're within a 1 degree orb of each other, and they're in my sixth house of work, which absolutely makes sense. So I was like, okay, there are no there are no coincidences here. So that's where asteroid Mr. Rogers is for me. So once again, you can look him up 2658. So I when I'm looking for a little bit of hope in the skies, I look to see where asteroid Mr. Rogers is. Does that count as a dark or a dweeb or a nerd? I don't know. But I remember I was watching the movie on the plane and I was like crying my eyes out because I was so moved by it. Apparently, he also composed piano. I did not know that. He composed piano because I used to compose as a kid. I would sit for hours, untrained. I would just play by ear and I would sit for hours and I would just compose my heart out. And he found the kind of soulmate in his life where they would actually play piano together on two pianos right next to each other, which I thought was adorable. But yeah, that's something that does bring me a lot of hope. Asteroid Mr. Rogers. But let me tell you where he is right now, or rather where the asteroid is. I'm still trying to work out what I think a definition of that asteroid is beyond just being hope, being the sign of hope. you know, so let me tell you where he is and what he's doing right now. Okay. So this particular asteroid in the skies is currently, hang on, where are you? Currently at 16 degrees of Cancer, which is, yeah, okay, yeah, that does make an aspect in my chart. So, yeah, 16 degrees of Cancer. So, if you're listening to this, see what's hitting 16 degrees Cancer in your chart because that might just be a fun thing to do. So, that's just what I do. So, yes, Mr. Rogers asteroid. For probably the most positive thing that I look at when I look at a chart. What is this doing where? So that's not the only thing what I wanted to share with you, but that's something I've had in my mind for the past couple of weeks, and I was like, oh, okay, I should share this with the gang and see what they think. So let's see what else is coming up today. Hang on. Okay. Dusana says a dweeb. Nerds crunch data. Dweebs just like odd things. Yeah, I'm probably a bit of both. So what is a geek? Please advise me. What's a geek? What's the third category? Um so yeah, that's what I've been doing. That's one thing. Let's see what else I've been working on. I've been trying to reclaim my garden ever since we found out we are living next to some not very nice people after all. The garden got hit with plagued by rats for no reason because there's no food there anymore. They basically ate all of the wheatgrass and then everything just started dying by itself. And I was like, oh my God, this is an energy thing. So we're slowly trying to reclaim the garden. The noni tree is going strong. That one is still growing strong. Noni is badass. I mean, I have a lot of respect for Noni now. A lot of respect. Noni tree is still going very, very strong. And the rest have just been like, so, I'm trying to recultivate. Not entirely sure how long we're going to remain here, but trying to recultivate the land, see what we can do. Oh, hang on. We have a question. Oh, okay. B. Stompelt wants to know, can someone explain to my dyscalculate, directionally challenged, but what is the difference between a natal placement and something hitting your chart? Basically, that's a difference between a natal chart and a transit to natal chart. So, for example, let's say you've got X placement here, and you got something flying over, maybe here, maybe here. It hits that placement through different angles or different lines of force or different lines of influence. That's what the difference is between having just a natal chart and something that is, I just say hit the chart, but you could say aspecting or affecting the chart by transit. And there are all kinds of charts. I don't want any one of you to feel bogged down by the natal chart, because if all our lives were just the natal chart, please, nobody be born. It's too boring. There are so many ways that we evolve over time. There's so many different ways that we can look at astrology, even using very simple techniques, that we don't need to be bound by this. Oh, hang on. Ooh, Wisdom which has a good suggestion: mushrooms to purify the soil and build compost. I hadn't thought of that. I will look into it. Thank you. Joyous Day says, can you speak briefly on Saturn retrograde in a birth chart? I can. I'm not sure what to say about it. I mean, previously, when I was, as most of you know, or at least should know if you've been following me for a while, I did not study astrology. At most I did was, yeah, I had a lot of astrological readings in different systems growing up. I think I touched a book when I was 5 years old. But then astrology came to me literally. I woke up one day and I just went, I know how to do this. What's going on? And whatever I read afterwards was to try and just help me put into language what it was that I just remembered. I mean, same thing happens for me with different things. Like when I'm trying to study TCM and meridians, I just know shit. I know shit because I've spent many, many lifetimes learning shit. So, the knowledge will just come and I'll just be like, okay, I have to make sense of you now. So when I was reading, trying to understand what was happening with me, and there are a few people this happens to, there's so many people who learn this. It's not that surprising if someone suddenly remembers it in a different life. But when I was trying to make sense of all of this, what I read usually means that there is a very large karmic impulse or weight associated with whatever it is that it's doing. But to be honest, given this day and age, I don't really think that carries much weight, to be honest, because every damn thing that we seem to be processing is very, very deeply karmic. What a Saturn retrograde may indicate from observation, I would say that the Saturn retrograde is something that it'll teach you through delays. It'll teach you through blockages. It'll teach you through obstacles. It'll teach you through things that go wrong and not just things that go right. So, in other words, I would say, thinking about it, it's probably the invitation to learn through what a person may traditionally, with a very specific definition of success, say, learn through your failures, learn through your delays, learn through the obstacles, learn through what went wrong rather than what you expected to go right. It's all going to be karmic, anyways. So that's how I would interpret that particular thing. Ivy Spark asks, what are your thoughts about the current Mercury retrograde? I think, as I've mentioned, and I want all of you to go back and listen to my video on the Truth Tellers eclipse, because that's the main eclipse post for the one that's coming up in 5 days from now. It's going to be the same energy. If I feel called to do something on the eclipse day as well, I will. But it's probably just going to be echoing what I've already said. Now, this Mercury retrograde, I would say, it just forces us to dig deep and tell those truths that we have been hiding from ourselves and other people. And that doesn't mean that you need to air your dirty laundry or your innermost secrets to the world. Sometimes it just means telling the people you care about and the people you love and the people who are around you the stuff, the story about you that you haven't said, you know? And I think most of you have learned to read between the lines. There's a lot that I don't say. I mean, I was thinking about it and I was writing a letter because that's what I do. I write when I try to process shit. And generally speaking, writing works better for me. And I was thinking to myself, um, I've been through shit, like not a small amount of shit. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to it. But I've gone through this, ever since I was a child. There was no small, young, happy, innocent child period. It just went even in gestation, even from the moment of birth. I was just like, we're in this, we're working now. In fact, I was more the sky priestess when I was a child than I was in my, childhood years or my teens or whatever. I was deadly focused even then. And as a lot of you would know, there's been a terrible amount of racist discrimination that I had to go through as a kid, and I mean unnatural, horrible, sociopathic levels, like getting threatened by a kid who wanted to kill me every day, and that kind of stuff, So this was all happening, I don't know, nearly 30 years ago now. And so it was a very different time. And I remember that I was having major psychic activation, seeing shit that nobody was talking about, nobody knew anything about, no way I could ever articulate anything to the people around me, getting like the fear of God and life put into me every day at school. And I remember that for me, and there were so many periods where I was so afraid to even do anything. But in that time, without being prompted, without being guided by anything, without anyone telling me this was the thing to do, I ended up, and this is me, and this is the core. If you want to see a person, look at what they do on the times of extreme happy. I ended up starting a club on a school bus. It's called the Best Friends Club because that's what I really wanted, friends. And this is my Capricorn ass. Here I am, little kid, traumatized, nobody that is to really support me, and I literally got other kids who were traumatized, got them to sign. Now I know what it was to sign a charter, agree to a code of conduct. We had a kitty. We would literally collect money and distribute food and snacks. We would have daily meetings and tell each other stories about our days. Basically, I was like running a self help group in the guise of an informal bus fan group friendship network. And I did this for years. And that is legit me, and I was thinking about this going, Jesus Christ. Yeah. I've been doing this for a long time. So it's those kind of stories. It's not just about, people make a production of their trauma. I'm not saying that people shouldn't talk about trauma because it's been so suppressed and so oppressed and people have been encouraged not to talk about it, but it's also about looking at what is the narrative it made you create in yourself. And this is the thing about me. Even if I don't have anybody to save me, I'm the first person who'll be there going, do you need help? So when I talk about getting rid of sacrificial karma, it's me that I'm talking about first. Someone had messaged me randomly on YouTube and it reminded me of this, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, that's also a very key and very important part of the story. Who was the person who actually had the sense to do that and help other people who were even less, I mean, they weren't bullied as hard, but for some reason I managed to do it, you know? And that's also the kind of stories that we need to be excavating. That's the kind of stories that we need to be looking at within ourselves. And even if no one else is hearing, to remind ourselves of those early experiences. And to me, at the very least, that's what this Mercury retrograde has been about. It's about that truth from within. And yeah, sometimes we just get caught up in talking about how shit things are that we forget to see those moments where who we are actually shines through the shit. So, that's how I would answer that question. Let's see. What else we got here? Ivy Spark says you have such nice energy. I'm glad to have learned of you recently. Yay, thank you. Let's see. Oh my God. Okay, Lex says hello from me, Luna, and Nebula. Hello, hello. Lex and Luna have a very cute little puppy. In fact, I was speaking to someone called Lex today, so I was thinking about Lex. I was like, okay, I should see how these fellows are doing. But let's see what else we got here. Let's also do the hellos. So let's see who else is here. So hello, Coyote Prophet. Hello, Dusana. Hello, Chaitra. Hello, Michi. Hello, of course, Tom Pelvich. Hello, Christy. Hello, Jessica. Hello, Lakshmi. Hello, who else we got here? Roses and Bees. Hello, Joyous Day. Hello, Mr. Corey Rials. Of course, hello, Hybe Spark. Nice for you to join this community. Let's see what we got here. Hello, Georgia. Mm-mm-mm. Of course, Lex Luna Nebula, Innocent Alchemy. Hello, Celine. So that's who we got online today. So, yeah, so I just wanted to touch base, talk to people. For some reason, when I say shit, it hits people. And I guess that's how everything happens. So I just trust that what I got to say is what people need to hear. And as long as I come at it from my heart, then it's the best thing you can do, right? Oh, hello, Justina. Hello, Beatrice. Who says sweet pea? Oh, I actually looked up what a sweet pea was. That's how much of a, I believe now I know the term, uh, nerd I am. I looked this up because I was like, why do people call each other sweet peas? I call people sweet pea. I didn't know what it meant. And then I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's a very sweet looking flower. Now I know. So, yes, again, for the new people, hello neighbors are not about, they're not about any focused discussion. They're just a way to hang out, chill, connect with community. I do this work not because I want people to look at me and go, oh, Sky Priestess, she's going to drop some truth bombs and tell us this and tell us that. That might happen. Or it might just be me going, you never know. You never know. Let's see. Who else we got here? What else is going on with you guys? People of different genders, girls. I don't know what term to use. I'm just so used to saying hey guys. But what else is going on? What else is happening with people? Just give it a minute. Let's see. In the meantime, I will think, is there anything else I wish to share with the group at this time? Mm, mm, mm. Oh yeah. Yeah, I wanted to talk about gratitude. Oh, here we go. Hello, Susanna. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I wanted to talk about gratitude. Gratitude is a very important. I don't want to use the word exercise because the moment you say something is a ritual or an exercise, people get very British stiff upper lipped about it. I would say, and even practice, it sounds too formal. Oh, hang on. Peace Tom Feltwich says, wait, is there a separate flower from those peas with pink flowers that grow on the fences? Nope, nope, that's the one. That's the one. Don't worry, you're fine, Storm Feltwich, you're fine. So getting back to it, gratitude. I've been thinking about the people that I have been grateful for in my life. And, being born in the circumstance that I was in, climbing my way out of terrible, terrible dynamics and being where I am right now, I mean, there have been so many people that have come into and have left my life, but then there are some people that remain. And, you can call them family, you can call them friends, you can call them soulmates. And I realize that no one, and I mean absolutely no one, is meant to do this alone. No one is meant to struggle alone. That being said, that doesn't mean that you go and try and get, other people to carry your burden all the time. That's not what that is either. But we're not meant to go on this path of life alone. It doesn't matter if you don't talk to people most of the time, but some contact, even if it's with a tree, with a cat, which I would say is superior to most human contact, but I am very biased that way. Um, but whatever it is, it's about just taking that moment to realize who, just by virtue of presence, supports you and whom you support. Now, I know, like you can imagine, there are tons of people who want to come to me for support, but that's not the same as a everyday human relationship. That's a facilitator's connection, which is very different. But the kind of people who would send me or I would send them cute things on Instagram, they actually do a lot more than you can imagine. Like there's a couple of people, if I find pictures of cute puppies or cute cats or something, I would just like send it to them, and they would send me the same. These kind of little things. And sometimes you can have gratitude for people who help you do big things, who talk to you at a critical time, or people who just, show up when you really need someone. And sometimes you can have gratitude for people who just, make your everyday life a little bit easier. Because no matter how shit something is, when a friend sends you a picture of a cute puppy, because they know you will like it, you know that that person has thought of you. And sometimes it doesn't even take that much. Sometimes when you're just thinking of someone and you send them a heart, it can just really take the edge off whatever it is you're going through and whatever it is you're feeling. And I think it's just so important to have gratitude for all of those people who have taken the time. And God knows, just to reply to messages, just to talk to people, sometimes we can be so inundated, we can be so not even caught up with ourselves, just so tired. Like, it can be so difficult just to do the very basics. I mean, today I was looking at a video by this Vietnamese chiropractor, or Vietnamese origin, I should say. Um, and he was doing this video on back stretches and so on and so forth. And because I sit in a chair a lot because of my work, it's important to go look this stuff up. And I was so sad when I saw all of these comments by 14-year-olds and 15-year-olds going, "My back is killing me. Why does it hurt so much?" We think we have a certain assumption that, people can take the weight, or, everyone's okay. But we don't actually want to look at just how much suffering is in the world. So sometimes that small little emoji, that small little gif, that small little video of cats cuddling can really turn the tables for someone's day. So I'm grateful for that too. There's a friend of mine in the United States, and I got to spend a little bit of time with her in person. And she saw me as I was walking through a cupcake shop. And I think she was afraid to say my name because it's a complicated name if you're not familiar with it. And she looked at me and she went, "Are you the Sky Priestess?" I went, "Yeah." And we became friends. And we did stuff like just hang out, eat pizza, and watch Paddington Bear. If you are someone who likes cute creatures and can forgive some aspects of British colonization because they look a bit too cute when they're being embodied by a little Peruvian bear with a raincoat. If you can forgive that, you can watch Paddington 1 and 2 because it's a great thing to do. And so, it's those little things. It's those little things. It's those human things, which I guess it's also very germane to the upcoming eclipse because that's also what Gemini is about. It's about the everyday. It's not about this, major, major, major thing that you have to go and find somewhere. And no, it's about everyday shit. It's literally about everyday shit. And these things help. So if you've got somebody you love, send them a goddamn emoji because you might not know how it changes their life. Let's see. Let's see. Joyous Day asks, is there anything regarding the June 10th eclipse in which we should aware of? I would say check out my previous video on that called the Truth Tellers Eclipse. That should give you more information on that. Cosmic Trill says, hi everyone. Hi Cosmic Trill. Lex says, Luna wants me to tell you that some of the sweet pea flowers are some of the flowers in Alice in Wonderland. Ah, I wonder if they get you high. Gina Maria Rogers sends hearts. Hello, lovey. How are you doing? Michi says, when you go with the flow, it hits every time, Dr. B. Good. I'm glad. I am glad. Ugh, I remember all those times, when you're in academia and you have to plan what you're going to say. I remember I would over plan to death, like to death. And the moment I would get up on stage, I just put it aside and just say something completely different. I have no idea what I'm going to say. It would just come out. So I've realized that just go with the flow, man. You'll get to what you need to do. Hello, neighbor. It's just chill out. We're not doing anything super focused or whatever, whatever. But the people who have the sense to know what we're doing will get the benefit anyway. So let's see. What else do we have going on with the people? Um, oh, Ivy Spark asks, how do you know when you're truly going with the flow, when you no longer need to question it? Georgia says, I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Big hugs. Sending you big hugs. Let's see. Is there anything else? Give me a minute. Mm, Still thinking. General health tip. General health tip. The Gemini eclipse is going to bring up some health issues for people who are hypersensitive, people who are already prone to anxiety, neuroticism, so on and so forth. Um, Probiotics, if your body can handle it, vitamin B, omega oils, those will help. Those will help. Celine says, reading a new book by Pema Chodron called Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change. Highly recommend. Cool, cool. Let's see. What else? Ah, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I remember. I wanted to tell you what I'm watching because I know a lot of you like my TV recommendations because we check things out. Sometimes they're cool, sometimes they're not. I and me and my brother have started watching Voltron because we used to watch this as a kid, right? Um, Unfortunately, the new reboots of animated series do not seem to understand the power of the old theme songs. Beyond that complaint, they're actually really good. So, Voltron, the new series, is occult as fuck, but pretty damn good. It's pretty good. I would say it's well directed than a lot of movies right now. Michi says, I believe going with the flow means using less logic and more intuition. Yeah, that's another way of putting it. It's not just about giving into your feelings, though, and that's where a lot of people get confused. It's a flow. It's not about your feelings, it's not about your logic, it's just you're in that space. There's no real word for it. But thanks for chiming in. So, yes, highly recommend Voltron, especially if you are in an 80s I just keep missing the theme song though. So that's what we're watching in between me working my butt off. Um, let's see. Yeah, so that's what we're doing for recreation. Um, what else? Well, there's a new wave of lockdowns in Malaysia because the government decided to have an election. So now cases are skyrocketed through the roof. They were almost like single digit, but now they're back at 8,000 a day. Um, and so things are locked down a second time. Doesn't change much here because we are already pretty much hermits. So it doesn't change too much. It just means that food delivery hours are a little shortened, which does create a bit of a problem. But that's about it. Let's see. Let's see. There are some comments. B. Stompelt, which says, your pre presentation college study habits in Spider Man costume pointing at my pre presentation habits. Okay, my pre presentation college study habits in Spider Man costume pointing at yours. You would have to know the meme to get that, but that is funny as hell. Dora says, thank you for this message and every other one you've given, and so grateful I managed not to miss you live. Dora's been around for a while, a long while. Thank you very much. I do my best. I do my best. Um, yeah, that's about it for today, I think. I have decided to treat myself a bit. So my brother's out getting some stuff done. So I've asked him to buy me some ice cream. So I shall be enjoying my ice cream. Take comfort in the little things in the everyday. Doesn't have to be very complicated. Just take a little comfort here and there and keep going on your paths and keep going on your journeys. That's the best thing that you can do right now. Be honest and be truthful to yourself. Oh, Beatrice wants to know what flavor. I have asked him to look for strawberry, butterscotch, and cheesecake. It might taste quite nice combined, or it might taste very weird. We will find out. We will find out. But yeah, the simpler that you can make your life right now, the better. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with your stories. Don't let someone else's need colonize your truth, you know? Don't let someone else's agenda, someone else's desires and drives take over your space of being honest. And that's very important. Like especially in my life, especially with Mr. Rogers, asteroid Mr. Rogers conjunct Mercury. You can imagine how many people come to me looking for comfort. And Sometimes it's very hard saying no. When you realize someone wants your energy, someone wants your light more than they want to actually just respect you as a person and in a healthy way, just enjoy your presence. So that's a lesson that I've had to learn. It's not a fun lesson because I don't like necessarily drawing that boundary. I'm good at boundaries, but I don't actually like drawing them, but I'm good at them. And it's been by necessity rather than choice. Um, but just be aware of all of these energies and make sure that you have a space for yourself. Make sure you can do that. And as you feel comfortable in your truth, expand outwards to those who will not take your light for granted, who will not take your truth for granted, and people who are not just trying to dominate your space with their shit. That's also very, very important. So, having said that, I look forward to eating ice cream, and I hope all of you navigate safely and truly and with love and compassion for yourselves and then for those who are around you. Know that it is okay to draw a line when someone's truth seeks to devour your own. Much in the way I will devour ice cream, but that is a very different relationship. So I send you lots of love. I send you very many blessings and ciao ciao for now. Bye bye, everybody.